Yo, my people, what is cracking? I'm out here with the 400 to 800 millimeter lens and my Sony camera. This episode is brought to you by the Jet Lag Express. It's about 5:30 in the morning, and you can see I'm here on the manicured grounds of a hotel and resort spa location here in Baja California Sur. Up early, hoping to walk around the grounds here. Once the sun comes up enough, I'll be able to photograph some of the birds with my camera and contribute my findings to a citizen science project back at Cornell's Lab of Ornithology called eBird. So I thought I would take you along with me on this little journey and see what we can find together. You can see the sun's coming up behind me, and we'll see what we can discover. Let's go, yo! All right, I realize the lighting isn't the greatest for on-camera stuff, but look at this amazing sunrise behind me. I've been able to hear and also see a couple of diving brown pelicans, and over here on the shoreline, which is probably a little bit difficult to see. Actually, you can make it out. There is a great blue heron there. So once the light gets a little bit brighter, let's see the brown pelican flying towards us. There he comes. Maybe I'll take another dive. Anyways, there's a whole bunch of songbirds singing as well. I've been hearing flycatchers and a mockingbird and some house finches. It's still a little bit way too dark. I just tried to take a picture of that egret with like 1/20th of a second with an 800 millimeter lens. Probably not going to be a very good photo. Definitely not going to make it on any magazine covers. But either way, looking forward to this sunrise. It looks pretty awesome, especially with these palm trees in the foreground, and starting to be able to make some stuff out. So stay tuned. So my goal this morning when I set out is to document as many bird species as I can. And even before the light is strong enough to get pictures with my camera, I've been using this really neat app, which has become kind of the gold standard modern day field guide, which is called Merlin. And it's also developed by the Cornell Lab. And I'm able to document some of my audio observations with Merlin, even though our phone camera microphones are not that sophisticated. They're usually good enough, provided that there isn't a lot of background noise, to actually contribute those audio recordings to my eBird checklist. So that's pretty exciting. Well, it's kind of like a tricky thing here because I'm watching birds fly around, and there's almost enough light now. You can see a little bit more about the environment that I'm in. This is actually part of a golf course, which is kind of interesting. But then there's the coastline and some of the native vegetation. So quite a variety of habitats for birds. And there's even in the distance over by the highway, there's a little estuary system which is actually lined with mangroves. I got to get back to work here doing the actual thing that I set out to do, but thought I would stop here and tell you a little bit about what my goals are for the morning. So let's get back to it. Back to work, yo, let's go! All right, so this is actually my first time here at this particular location, and it's been pretty fun to kind of discover it with you all here. There's been a couple of brown pelicans flying around now that there's enough light. And actually in the distance, you might be able to make out there's a great blue heron here stalking along the shoreline. So I'm gonna try to include some of the video clips, but I may also have to include some stills in here because it's been a little bit too dark to actually get this whole video thing going. But we'll see how the morning progresses. You can see there's a beautiful sunrise on the Sea of Cortez behind me. And yeah, it's pretty nice, almost zero wind. Let's go, yo. All right, the sun is officially up, and there is definitely enough light now to photograph birds. You can see those brown pelicans flying above. There is a great blue heron out there, which is about to stalk some prey. And now that there's nice light on it, I've been able to get some passable photographs, maybe even some good video clips too. That'll be exciting. So yeah, it's time to get to work here. I think you might see a common trend amongst these audios, but it's a little bit tricky to do both things at the same time, try to document everything I see and then also make these little vlogs. But either way, I hope you all are enjoying this content so far, and stay tuned till the end. So right behind me in this small tree, I've been able to grab some pretty good pictures of a Vermilion Flycatcher, which is this wonderfully colorful small songbird, and yeah, pretty stoked on that. That might be one of the best things I've been able to film so far this morning. There was a pretty amazing sunrise that just happened. I got some cool shots of that as well, and this resort that I'm staying at has this kind of church-like steeple, and it was lit up beautifully with the alpenglow, I guess, or the sunrise light behind the mountains, and that was pretty awesome too. And now I'm headed over here to this little estuary system where there's some awesome reflections. I'll probably end up playing around with that. I can see another great blue heron back there too, so yeah, lots to do. Keep working it. Check out this amazing reflection behind me. There's like zero wind right now. You can probably hear the sound of the highway, which is a little bit of a bummer. But then again, I'm in this kind of manicured landscape of this resort, which is actually also a golf course. But there's an estuary system here. I just saw a boat go by. It looked like it was going out to fish, so there may be a dock a little bit higher up here. And I see a distant great blue heron. So yeah, this is just an awesome little magical moment. I'm glad I can share this with you all on the YouTube. Let's go, yo! It's probably worth mentioning, but the majority of the footage that I shoot, particularly of birds in this environment, is not the kind of stuff that's ever going to get shown on this channel because it's just out of focus or kind of struggling. But occasionally I get some things that are worthwhile, and see this great blue heron. I almost stumbled upon it. I don't think it's going to move, but I'm just going to take a couple of steps back and then see if I can try to photograph it for you all. And for eBird, let's go. Just been absolutely captivated by this landscape, which is just stunning. I love reflections, and I think you may enjoy this scenery as well. So there's a brown pelican up here, which I'm going to try to make a slow approach to. And while I'm on my way over here, I thought I would talk about something that I think is really important for photography in general, particularly when you're taking portraits of things, whether it's an animal or a person or even like a small detail of a flower. It's really important, your background, and it's nice to have a non-distracting background. You can do that through using a wide aperture of your lens or portrait mode if you're using a smartphone. But the more important thing is not to have distracting things in the background. And I was able to get a really nice look at this great blue heron just a little bit ago, and just moving a little bit when you're working with a long lens will make a big difference in the background. And there was kind of this wonderful light on the mountains behind me that was reflected in the water, and it made this beautiful background. And I moved just a little bit and it became more kind of drab and green. Not that either one was bad, but something to consider when you're out here trying to document nature or take pictures of people or flowers. And sorry, there's a Vermilion Flycatcher in the top of this bush, so I gotta cut this one. So if you're new here to the channel, my name is Dave Katz. I'm a National Geographic certified photography instructor and expedition leader. And over the last 20 years, I've been traveling the world, documenting my travels with my cameras and sharing some things on a variety of different websites. Recently been more focused here on YouTube, and I hope that you enjoy this content so far. What my goal here with this channel is just to get people excited about wild places and nature, and I think that if you like the outdoors, if you like nature, that you'll find some useful things here. So buckle up, it's going to be quite a ride. I plan on producing these little vlog style videos whenever I can over the next couple of years and see where it goes. But thanks for having a look, and we'll get back to it. All right, I think the star of the morning are these Vermilion Flycatchers. You can see them up in the tops of the trees. It's been really fun to watch them fly out, grab some insects, and then come right back to a very similar perch. And I normally wouldn't be filming with my camera right now, considering how amazing the light is and how they're perched against a blue background, but I did manage to get a couple of shots, and I figured it was worth showing you what this looks like kind of in a wide angle view. But they're basically just flying out, coming back, and landing on the same tree. So the star of the morning definitely goes to the Vermilion Flycatcher. It's a wonderfully colorful bird and just absolutely stunning in this morning light. Yo, let's go! Yo, big mid-video interlude with the yo lifestyle. Pretty sure I just caught a good picture of a Xantus hummingbird, which would be pretty cool. That's actually a bird I've never seen before, and it's also endemic to Baja California Sur, so that'd be pretty exciting. I may eat my words on this one because it did kind of look like the white-eared hummingbird, but we'll just have to do a little bit of homework. And of course I could just not include this clip in the video if I'm completely wrong. But you can see the sun's starting to come up. It was perched on this bush behind me, and I think I got even a passable video clip of it too. So yeah, we'll just have to see. Pretty stoked, yo! Xantus hummingbird for the win! Well, I'm just hanging out in a very similar place to where I saw the first Xantus of this morning, in this little chain link fence. Kept coming back and perching right on top of it. And I got some amazingly close pictures of it. It might be, I don't know, maybe it's semi-habituated because we are literally in this weird little gringo town of Napolo. That was just a spectacular little moment. Got some great footage of it. Actually, at one point I had to back off from 800 millimeters because I was just too close, which doesn't often happen when I'm photographing wildlife and birds. So that was pretty awesome. All right, so right behind me, there was a couple of verdins that came by and landed in the tree. And I tried to get some footage of them. I definitely got some photos that were passable. The footage might be a little bit too shaky or just like a little bit too bouncy. They were really small birds, and banging around in the bushes is hard to keep track of them. But this has just been an awesome morning so far. Here, heard a couple of cactus wrens up in the tops of these palm trees, but wasn't able to photograph them yet. I'm not totally out of time at this point, but definitely getting that way. Let's see, they're up there somewhere. All right, finally upgraded to a little bit of sun protection here. As you can imagine, it's starting to get a little bit sunny, and melanoma runs in my family. I don't know how hereditary any of that is, but I figure instead of funding future dermatology surgeries, it might be a good idea just to kind of cover up. And there's still a lot of activity here. You can see this wonderful sunrise on this little marina behind me. And yeah, it's a little bit hard to do the vlog thing at the same time as being aware of my surroundings and looking at all the birds, but I hope you all are enjoying this so far. Gotten a couple of really nice looks at the hooded oriole, particularly up in the tops of these palm trees. It's been a little bit difficult to film and to photograph, but yeah, beautiful birds, especially in this morning light. The yellow almost just turns like even more yellow. It's pretty amazing. There's one that just flew above me up here. See if I can try to get a shot of it for y'all. This has been a pretty amazing morning. I feel like these are the kinds of mornings that really just kind of feed my soul and keep me going, getting me excited about nature. Seen lots of amazing animals, well, particularly birds, and been able to get a bunch of really cool shots of them. Some I'm actually really stoked on. And it's pretty amazing to think that, I mean, you can hear the sound of the highway in the background. This is, you know, a little gringo development here, and golf course. It's not exactly a wild place, but it's right up against a really wild place, which is Baja California. And so perhaps the intersection of these manicured environments, the sort of human influence, is actually a decent place to be exploring and seeing how these animals have kind of adapted to living on the fringe of a wild area. All right, so if we look at the top of this bush, there's a little white dot, and of course it looks a little bit more interesting through an 800mm lens, but that's a northern mockingbird, and I've just been hanging out here in the shade. Don't seem to be bothering it too much, even with this conversation. It's still up there, but I'll bring you in a little bit closer through the advent of a 8K camera with an 800mm lens, and we'll just kind of jump in there. I guess it also might be worth mentioning that all of the footage that I'm going to show you today was shot with oh my god, sorry, this is so distracting. There's a great blue heron that just is eating a fish. Let's see if I can film it real quick. Great blue heron has a huge fish. I wonder if it'll be able to eat it all. It's a pretty big one. So this great blue heron behind me just ate a huge fish. I got some footage of it, but basically the fish went down and kind of got stuck in its throat, and I'm not sure it's convinced that it's going all the way down or if it's coming back up. But either way, I'm just gonna hang out here and observe it for a little bit. I wonder if it'll be able to eat it all. It's a pretty big one. So I realized I set out this morning, and a bunch of the first pictures I was taking, I didn't have my camera set to bird autofocus, which is kind of a funny thing. You think after 20 years of, or 23 years of taking pictures pretty seriously with cameras, often on a professional assignment, I would know to check all that stuff. But part of the jet lag, I guess, this morning, I forgot to check it. I think a lot of the photos still came out pretty well, because these modern day Sony cameras, whether they're on animal or bird detection, eye focus, they do pretty well. But leads me into one of my kind of common jokes, which is the difference between beginner photographers and expert photographers. Beginner photographers have made tens of mistakes, and expert photographers have made thousands of mistakes. So I guess I'll just add it to the list. There's a verdin in perfect light behind me, so you can see this is kind of like a pull between film it or share it with you all, and kind of going back and forth here. So yeah, let's jump back in. Just caught a brief glimpse of a couple of California quails that were cruising across the golf course behind me. I think this is the second lap I've made around this little lagoon and the bridge. There's been a lot of verdins and flycatchers and great blue herons and brown pelicans, and now the California quails and the Xantus hummingbird. Man, it's been an absolute bird bonanza this morning. I know this is becoming kind of a phrase that I use, but it's true. It's amazing to be out here, have some sophisticated equipment, which are essentially digital form of binoculars, and be able to observe wild animals. Getting stoked, yo. It also may be worth noting that none of this content that I'm producing now on YouTube is sort of scripted or rehearsed in any kind of way. This is literally just me walking around this golf course with my camera, and I'm not using a teleprompter or any notes or anything, and I'm also kind of actively being distracted by the task of being out here and documenting the things I see. And so it's kind of like a limited scope in a way of how high this sort of production value can become. But I hope you enjoy this style of content. Let me know below if this is kind of your cup of tea, or if you think this is all a little too informal for someone who's been doing this for 25 years. I figured I'd just try something a little new here and see how it goes. I'm generally kind of a morning person, and so birds and wildlife and stuff like that, landscapes and stuff, are obviously benefited from getting out early. There's a couple of Vermilion Flycatchers in this bush behind me, but I guess I have that as a little bit of an advantage, and that I don't need to really kind of rally in the morning to get up. I also am not a caffeine drinker, so I kind of just wake up and just roll right into it. I guess maybe I definitely start fading in the evening. So if you give me an assignment to do something in the evening, I might have to take a nap during the day or something to kind of get prepared for it. Either way, this morning got up at around 5:30 and just kind of rolled out of bed. Well, benefited again by the jet lag, but all of the footage I'm going to show you this morning is either from my iPhone or from hand holding an 800mm lens. So if you see that it's a little bit shaky, well, keep in mind I'm not using a monopod or a tripod or anything like that. Just literally a guy walking through this golf course resort with my camera, which in a way I guess makes me a little more agile, particularly for doing a bird survey, but it definitely makes it harder to hold your camera steady. Over the last couple of months, I've been doing a little bit of physical therapy for essentially an unrelated injury to what I'm talking about, but either way, also been trying to build in a little bit of strength training to that routine. And it's kind of funny because if you're constantly working out and trying to take pictures at the same time, of course, then your muscles are kind of weak. And I've been noticing that, although I think overall my strength is improving, and that will probably help me keep the camera steady so I can get better at this whole 800mm handheld filmmaking journey. So up in the top of these cardon cactuses, there was a woodpecker that was perched. That was pretty cool. Nice surprise sighting for the morning. And there's a couple of other birds around here in the bushes, some that I don't recognize. You can probably hear them calling. There's a mockingbird making its varied and fancy call. Highway is just nearby, but either way, still able to get a nice view and a nice listen of these wonderful creatures. It's pretty cool. I just got like kind of a bottom-up view of a couple of house finches, but it kind of looked like there was an adult that was feeding a chick, which is kind of a cool sighting. And yeah, stoked. See, there's a whole bunch of brown pelicans dive bombing behind me. Out on that point, there's actually a booby. All right, so I'm back on the beach here. I guess this is an apropos ending to my morning because my camera battery is dead, which is pretty impressive. I don't think I've ever turned through 100% battery in one morning, at least not recently. So lots of productivity. Now that my battery's dead, I'm kind of wondering, is it too early for a swim? It's only like 8:30, but maybe I'll just go have a dip right into the Sea of Cortez. That might even be better. All right, well, another funny twist in this sort of jet lag syndrome is I actually found a battery in my back pocket. So I'm headed back to the beach and see if I can film a couple of dive bombing pelicans and maybe get even if a distant view of the booby that I think I saw out there. So yeah, almost running out of time here. Getting stoked that I found the secret pocket battery stash. All right, so there's quite a bit of activity down here on the beach. Diving brown pelicans. There's also a bunch of diving terns farther down. I go down and see if I can get a closer look. I think I saw a couple that were actually getting fish, so that's pretty cool. Pretty clear water today. No wind. Stoke. All right, this is like the third time I've tried to quit and head back to my room and grab my bags and head. It's just been absolutely amazing morning here. You can see all the cardon cactuses, a couple of agaves, just awesome botany here as well. And yeah, getting stoked, yo. All right, so that additional battery definitely breathed a couple more moments of life into the survey this morning, but it is officially quitting time and I gotta go now. So kind of running back to my hotel room, ram everything in my bag and move on to the next one. So hope you all have enjoyed this. It's been fun taking me on a little walk this morning, although I have to say it's definitely distracting process trying to talk to the camera and film and just be observant of the surroundings, but getting slightly better at it. And anyways, until the next one, peace out.